I can play violin.
That'd be great.
I'd rather not play guitar. I don't play well enough on guitar. I can play for a couple minutes on the violin. The first thing I ever played was the ukulele when I was about 5 years old with my father. My father used to sing, and we would play songs and sing in the car, and I would play the ukulele. Yeah. Well, I'm retired now, but my whole life was as a professional violinist and violin teacher. I heard it on the radio and thought, I asked my mom, what is that sound? And I said, I want to learn to do that. So she got me a violin. When there would be emotional upheaval in my family, I would go in my room and play the violin. It was my place. When I was in the Peace Corps, I was in West Africa, and it was terribly hot and amazing conditions. And I took a violin with me, and I practiced every morning from 5:30 to 7 because it was the only time of day it was cool enough to practice. For no reason, again. I mean, I was not thinking when I come back, I have to get a career. I was not thinking that. I just didn't want to be without the violin. It's not calms. That's what sometimes people think, but it doesn't calm me at all. It intensifies me. If you have a philosophy that includes some concept of the center or something like that, when I play music or practice music, that's my best avenue into that center. I still do the same thing I practiced an hour before you came on my guitar, because I can't play the violin anymore because my arm's injured. And when I would practice, which I did every day, I would practice scales and arpeggios in order to keep my craft at the top of its game. I didn't have oh, you know, today I feel like playing this beautiful song from this opera. Never. I would have 10 pieces to learn for the next 3 jobs I had to do. When I was in graduate school, I did a great deal of playing. I was a founding member of the Kronos String Quartet, which is a very famous...
Is that true?
I was a founding member, yeah. They had to get rid of me before they could become famous. Yeah. Usually, I was the best of the local people. I didn't win the job. Somebody from Russia won the job. But I was then around, so every time they needed an extra or somebody was sick, they would call me. And that became the structure of my financial life. I've always taught violin lessons since I was 20 years old. I've taught at schools, I've taught at institutions, and I've mostly just taught privately in my house. So I eventually played 25 straight years with the ballet orchestra, as in that position, as like what they call first call extra. But the symphony I played occasionally. And with the opera, for several years, I played almost everything, and then later on a little less. So and I also played everything else. All the big orchestras, all the shows, all the sound recordings. I recorded the music for Star Wars. You know, a lot of big television recordings and everything. But I can still play a couple of things. So this is a famous old violin piece that was my mother's favorite song. So since I don't have a favorite song, I'll play it. Lived at a very low economic level all of those years because I was barely making enough money ever, and we were always like on the edge of disaster financially, and I kept thinking I should get a real job. Had I absolutely not been able to pay the rent, I mean been evicted, I don't know I never thought about being a school teacher because I don't like kids very much. I'd kill myself. Somehow music's a little too precious for me to have in front of 3rd graders who aren't interested. In all my life, the whole career, I never had a contract. I never had medical care. I never had anything. I just managed. I've never had any money to spend like on anything. That's been part of the picture. It doesn't matter to me too much. It very much matters to my wife, who is not at all happy about that situation and expected a different outcome. I was sailing, I fell off a boat and landed on the dock and broke my arm, my right shoulder completely. I don't know if you know, you maybe haven't been injured too much at your age, but all I knew is it hurt. But I didn't know that I would never play the violin again. It was very dark there for a couple of years. My entire identity, financial world, social world, artistic world, and emotional center, that place I've been talking about, was involved with playing the violin. So when I couldn't play the violin, I had no idea how to live in the world. I didn't have any skills, I didn't have any protection, I didn't have any place to go when I was feeling weird.